Okay, the 2018 World Cup starts tomorrow. Russia hosts it. So I'm going to say right off the bat, them being in Group A, Group A is three kind of weaker teams in this tournament, and Uruguay, who uh, have shown me recently that I can have faith in a country outside of Brazil and South America. I like Uruguay's chances of ending up first in this tournament, and I like Russia's odds of ending up second. I've got arrows next to the countries that I think might be stealth choices. It's clearly Egypt, as the number 2 ranked team going into this, should be that second place team. I've seen too many World Cups where the host nation goes in and they're just kind of here, but they end up doing really well. They've got that home crowd, they've got that enthusiasm because they're playing at home, and I don't know if home field advantage is really that big a deal on this stage with teams this good, but it does seem to play a role in how things end up. For some countries, it doesn't happen with every host, but I think of Greece right away as an example of where the Greeks rose to the occasion and had a really solid tournament when they hosted it. So I'm looking for Russia and Uruguay to probably lead that group. Group B, I can't see Portugal and Spain not leading this group. Portugal and their failures on the international stage at the World Cup, it's well documented. Spain is always going to be viewed as a contender to win it. Morocco, after losing out on the bid for 2026, do the players play a little better? Probably not. But if I was going to pick one out of the 4 that I thought could have a really good tournament and maybe get a scoreless tie against one of the better teams, I'd go with Morocco, because every now and then you'll see, and I think of the Cameroons here back in 1990, you'll see an African nation come in and overachieve. So Morocco could very well be that country. It's not just Morocco, though. I'm also taking another African country because I know at some point I'm going to be right on one of them. But Portugal and Spain should finish first and second in that. And then we can get into what Portugal is, what Portugal isn't, where Portugal's at after the qualifying round when we get into round 2. Group C, you've got France, Australia, Peru, and Denmark. I was looking for a group of death in here. I think Group E is probably the closest you get to a group of death. But C is close. And it's close because you've got 7, 11, 12, and 36th. But while I'm taking France and Denmark as probably the countries that will end up finishing 1-2, Peru's going to be excellent. But Australia has, again, there's ability to get people to cheer for them and play well on an international stage. And they're kind of overdue for something big. So I've got them as the team to watch in that group of 4. But honestly, they'll probably end up 0-3. Peru, Denmark, and France is pretty deadly. France, really honestly, is always excellent in World Cup for the most part. And Denmark and Peru, that should be quite the dogfight when those two countries play against one another. Group D, Argentina, Iceland, Croatia, and Nigeria. So this is Argentina's to lose. Argentina's far and away the better country in the rankings. Croatia's second in rankings. I'm saying, you know what, Iceland. I'd like to see Iceland get that second spot and qualify for the next round. Nigeria, though. I've seen the Nigerians perform well before. I remember when they were the best country out of the African countries. And I think when you look at some of these rankings, I can understand why they're expanding the tournament. They've wanted to include as many of the excellent teams as possible. So let's pause halfway through here and look at the countries that didn't make it. Chile, who are ranked 9th in the world. Netherlands ranked 17th. Wales, 18th. Italy, 19th. USA, 25th. That's right. Neither the Dutch nor the Italians are in this, and the Americans aren't either. Austria 26th, Slovakia 28th, Northern Ireland 29th, Paraguay 32nd, and of course Canada, who were 79th and weren't really close. But when you see all of these countries, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of the top 32 countries in the world by FIFA rankings that did not qualify, this is why they're expanding it to 48. Because a lot of these countries would qualify under the new qualification rules. They don't want to make it so that it's an all-Europe tournament, although let's be honest, Euro tournaments are pretty damn good. But while they don't want to make it an all-European tournament, there are a lot of really good European countries. Netherlands, Wales, Italy, Austria. If those 4 could get in, and Chile was able to get in because you open up South America a little bit more. Yeah, it's dicey because you don't want to make it so that qualifying for the World Cup has any less meaning to it. So it's a bit of a tough call, and yet you can't really make it a 36-team tournament or 40. You kind of had to go from 32 to 48 just to make the playoff system work. But there you go. That's the reason that I see is that there are a lot of star players for these countries that can't get in there. And, I mean, Italy is a huge draw. Huge draw. Even around here, I look at, I'm in Canada, I'm Western Canada, and the gear you'll see for the World Cup is always Germany and England, obviously. France, again, obviously. But Italy's always in there, too. Holland is always in there, too. Holland, Netherlands, Dutch. Why don't any of those words sound the same? Are they trying to hide from people? Anyways. So I really think that the World Cup wants to allow these countries to probably get in every time, but they want to maintain the idea that it's still a tournament to get in and it's still exclusive. It's a fine line. Group E, getting back to the tournament. This is close to a group of death as well, if you count the fact that Brazil's number 2 and Switzerland's number 6. Costa Rica's 23. Costa Rica, dark horse for me. Serbia at 34. Brazil and Switzerland honestly should be the top 2. And I'm saying should because this tournament very rarely works out exactly the way we think it will. These countries are, for the most part, close. And even for the lower ranked teams, they usually have a game plan going in. And sometimes it's just don't let anybody score. Sometimes that's the game plan. Don't let anybody score. Don't let anything go in. Don't let anybody score. Just don't. And it's a strange setup for sure. So it'll be interesting to see how this one turns out, only because Brazil and Switzerland, that's going to be awesome. Brazil really wants to make up for what happened in 2014. Desperately. Group F, Germany, the number 1 team in the world. Mexico at 15, Sweden at 24, South Korea at 57. Not North, South. The South Koreans usually make a game of it, and they usually fall just short. Sweden, I believe it was the Italians that Sweden knocked out. Don't count them out against, I would say, Mexico, but Germany should be, at the very least, in the next round. Germany's going to be the odds-on favorite to win this. And yeah, who am I picking to win the tournament? I'm going to go with Germany, although after what happened with Brazil, I would be very surprised not to see more pushback from the Brazilians this time. That half of football, and I'll call it football, not soccer, because I consider it to be football too. It confuses North American audiences. That half of football, 5 goals by the Germans. I remember my son was asleep. I woke him up, made him come out and watch. I'm like, you gotta see this. This is never gonna happen again. This is historic. And that's for non-hockey. And I was yelling and screaming. And I just thought it was great. Brazil's gonna want to avenge that. If Brazil and the Germans meet in the play, I expect a pretty rough, close, tight game between the two if they play against each other again, and I expect it to be an all-out classic. Group G, you have Belgium, Panama, Tunisia, and England. This is Belgium's group. By Belgium's record, and that the Belgians are going in on this high at number 3 in the rankings. That's amazing. I'm somewhat concerned because Belgium does underperform at times in Europe, or in Euro. I was going to say in Euro, but on this world stage, England always seems to underperform when I expect something out of them. So I'm picking England and Belgium to be the top 2, but watch Tunisia. I would watch Tunisia and England, and if Tunisia does somehow pull off an upset and beat England, it wouldn't really surprise me. Because, being a fan of England, it's funny because people ask me who I'm cheering for, and I always say, oh, Germany. And then I think about it and I go, Well, no, I would cheer for England over Germany. I'm just so used to England disappointing me that I just go, yeah, Germany. And it's weird because as a hockey fan, I cheer for the Vancouver Canucks. The Bruins are second. Somebody asks who do you cheer for overall, I say Canucks. But World Cup soccer, I'm just like, yeah, Germany. Oh yeah, right, England's in this. I'll cheer for England until they're out. So hopefully England finally they won't do it. It's too bad because honestly, other than Scotland, which would be amazing to see. I have roots in England, Scotland, and Ireland. I know, as white as I am, that's probably a huge surprise, but you know, lineage being as it is, I don't need Ancestry.com to know that too. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that group turns out. I'm not trying to disparage anybody that I don't have asterisks or check or arrows next to either. Just this is a pretty stacked tournament for the most part. Group H, Poland. This is kind of a group they should win. Senegal's 27th, Colombia at 16th, Japan at 61 though. Japan again, very smart country on the World Cup stage when they get there. I would expect a very tough game from the Japanese against Poland or against Colombia, but Poland and Colombia should be the top two. And yet Senegal at 27th. Can Senegal pull off an upset over Colombia or Poland and maybe get in that conversation? Absolutely. So that's as close as I can get to making any kind of predictions. I am predicting Germany because it's the sexy pick, but I'm admitting that at the World Cup, France will have an excellent chance. Brazil will always have an excellent chance. The Argentinians have to get something at some point. They have to be world champions at some point. And Portugal, if only for Cristiano Ronaldo, so that Ronaldo has that World Cup trophy, it will get talked about a lot. And we'll see what they have to offer. Not necessarily in the qualification, it will be the playoff rounds. That's where Portugal gets graded. Right or wrong for Ronaldo, that's where everything gets graded. But we'll see. Let me know your picks in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. I don't know how much of this I'm going to cover. I don't know how many videos I'm going to do on this. I do have a lot of other hockey things going on. Hockey will take precedent over this if the two are overlapping, say the draft, that kind of thing. But this is a fun tournament. It has tremendous world appeal, and honestly, it's a shame that hockey doesn't put something together like this. I know they want to do these quick little tournaments, but if hockey had something like this, that could be fun. And don't be surprised if you see a video about that in the upcoming hours or days. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.